If you watch my channel, you know that I don't do too much exterior videos. I'm not a big fan of exterior stuff, paint correction, waxing, and stuff like that. I have done some of it. In this video, I need to take this car and put it outside because I got to get the Lemons car in to do some stuff to it. This has a carbon fiber hood. It's a VIS carbon fiber hood. I've had it on here for probably 10 years at least, maybe closer to 15 years. It's starting to get that little green or greenish tinge to it that happens when carbon fiber is exposed to the sun and the elements. So since I'm going to put this out there, it's also kind of got a little bit of a fade. When I finish this, I'll show a kind of a close up of it. But I'm gonna wax this and see if I can't get it to shine up a little bit and protect it before I put it outside. I have in the past, I've had a carbon fiber hood that was bubbling and it had oranged out or kind of green. I think it's orange they kind of turn into. And you can grind these all the way down. I sanded it all the way down almost to the bare carbon fiber. The way they make these is they do the carbon fiber and then there's like a resin that they put down and then they clear coat over the top of it. And I think it's that resin that like turns that orangish color. It's really, really annoying. So to protect your carbon fiber as much as possible, try to keep it out of the sunlight. I think it's the sunlight that does it. This just started to turn after it's been a while. So in this video, I'm gonna wax it and hopefully get this thing shined up and get it protected before I pull it out. Before I get into cleaning this thing, let's take a closer look at the finish of this thing. Hopefully with the light, you can kind of see what's going on with this. It might be kind of hard to see with the lighting in here, but there is it's kind of a dull finish on there. I'm going to wax this. First I'm going to spray detail it and then wax it. For what I'm going to use is I have this Mother's instant detailer that I'm going to use. Put that on there first with a microfiber. And then I'm going to use this Meguiar's cleaner wax. It's kind of like a Carnauba wax. Put this thing on, I'm going to use a DA polisher. But just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like before. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over it with this detailer. Just try to get as much of the loose stuff off of here as possible. This car hasn't been sitting outside. But I'm going to go over it real quick with this and a microfiber towel to make sure that it's nice and clean before waxing it. Now that I got it wiped down, I'm just going to do half of it so we can see if there's any difference in this thing or not. This is a DA polisher, dual action polisher. This is what I'm going to use. This is a soft 6-inch pad. You want to use the soft one when you're doing the wax or the polishing. But I'm going to wet this down a little bit first before I put that polish on there. And then apply just a little bit of this to it. And then take it over to the car and start to do some polishing. So this is like, I think this is called like loading the pad or something like that. You rub all this stuff in there and you're pretty much loading it up with the wax or the polish, whatever it is that you're doing. There's all kinds of information on, you know, how to protect your paint, how to make it look good and all that other stuff. I probably should pay more attention to it and do more, especially with this car because it's old and it's gonna be sitting out. But yeah, we'll see how this works out. All right, so now I'm just gonna apply a little line around there, and then I'm gonna smear it around, working in little squares around the hood. I feel like I might have put too much water on here. It's a little bit moist. So probably don't need to add that much water. If really any at all, you probably just put the wax right on here, but that's one pass. I'll probably do it at least 1 or 2 more times and see what it looks like. I'm gonna wipe this off real quick and see how it looks. I feel like it's starting to come out. You can see the little bit of a line right there where it's starting to get a little more shinier on the side here. I think since I had too much water on the pad, because water is like a lubricant, I think I put too much of it on there. So I'm gonna try it again and maybe do the process a couple of times. This looks like it might need a compound or maybe even like a little more aggressive compound. This part's coming out really nice too, but I'm hoping to just do it with this cleaner wax and get it good enough to where it's going to be protected to go outside. So let me do it a couple more times and see how it turns out. All right, so I let it dry this time, so I'm going to wipe it off and see how it looks. All right, not really sure what's going on here, but I got like these hard swirls on there. I think it's just dried up stuff. I could probably like really rub it out if I wanted to. I don't know if it's because I did the detailer first or maybe I put too much water on this thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and do one more pass on this, and maybe that's the wrong thing to do, but let's see what happens. So this is looking a little better, letting it dry. Also, I'm using several of these microfiber towels. That's part of the reason why I don't like doing exterior stuff is that one, it takes a long time, and two, you kind of blow through materials. This is looking a lot better. Go ahead and wipe this all the way off and see how it looks. So I'm not exactly super excited about how this is coming out. I'm going to do this other side next. Of note, there was a line left here. I think you can kind of see it from when I had a car cover on there and the wind was blowing it around and left that. So hopefully that comes out when I go through and polish this thing. Here you can kind of see the difference. I did half of it. I think it's a little bit shinier. It's going to be okay. I think protecting it to kind of help it for when it sits outside for a little bit. But I think I'm going to have to go to like 1,000 grit and do all that whole thing. Go with like 1,000 grit, 2,000, then 3,000, and then compound it and then wax it to get it exactly where I need it to get back to. But that's going to have to be a later video if I decide to do it. Like I said, I'm not a huge, I guess, paint repair person. I'm not really big on that, but I'm going to go ahead and do the other side 3 times and then maybe do all of it a 4th time. And then I'll be back to show you how that turned out. Hopefully it'll be good enough to store outside. I think it will. I think it'll give it the protection that it needs to sit outside for a day or two, however long it's going to sit out there. Well, it looks like the paint looks really good. I mean, looks great out here. So this is after 4 passes. I don't know. I think it looks better, but the problem with doing like paint correction when it's, when you're doing it, it's like it's hard to see. Maybe when I make the video and I'll do some before and after and hopefully see that it did make a difference, that it did help. I can still see some of the dullness, but I think that's kind of deep in the clear coat. So this will be part 1 of this. I'll bring the car back in and probably, do some sanding on it and polishing and go from there. But I really just wanted to go over it a couple of times to try and protect it and hopefully make it not get any worse, because if you're gonna have a carbon fiber hood, you really got to take care of it. And it's worse than paint. It'll fade, they turn brown and stuff like that. I think it looks better, but that could just be because I spent an hour and a half or however long doing this 4 times. But a couple of tips I'd say, and if you think it looks good, let me know down below. If you got some tips on how to fix these things, let me know before I go to part 2. But when you're using your DA polisher, you want to let it do the work because it's going to be vibrating and it's going to be spinning. So you want to hold it level on there as much as you can as you're moving it around and not be pushing down on it. You don't want to push down on it. Also, I feel like I over applied. I put too much on there, put too much water on there. I haven't done any of this stuff in a while. So, I'm not the best at it. So, do what I do at your own risk. But yeah, if you got some tips on how to, fix some of this fuzziness or dulling of the clear coat, let me know down below, because the next step, I'm going to probably hit it with, 1,000 grit, 1,500 grit, Depend. I might try like a compound at first and see. I'm not really sure how deep it is that I need to go to get on this thing, but overall, I think that's pretty good. I'll do a before and after to close this thing out, and you can let me know what you think. But I think it'll help protect it. Also, when you're done, don't forget to wash out your applicator, let that dry off. Another thing I could have done was use some isopropyl alcohol to wipe all any of the residue off of there prior to waxing. So those are a few more tips that I can give you. But until part two, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and see. Hopefully I don't make it worse when I start sanding that hood down.